My oldest daughter, Abigail, was, I think she was probably about 3.5, and she was helping my wife tuck Anna into bed. And I was out of town, and as they were walking out of the room, Anna leaned in and looked at her little sister and said, "God will be with you tonight, Anna. God will be with you." Yeah, wasn't that nice? Except then she turned around to my wife and said, "Mommy, I told Anna that God would be with her, and the other God will be with me." And I thought, oh no. I teach about worldview, and my daughter's a polytheist at age 3. This is a problem. So, I mean, but that, that's one thing, just helping, kind of get things straight about who God is, you know what I mean? But then you're talking about helping them understand who God is in a culture that looks like this. You know what I'm saying? In a culture that is what historians and sociologists call the information age. That's pretty astounding because historians and sociologists like to name ages. So we had the age of enlightenment or the age of industrialization or the age of exploration. Our age is called the age of information. Why? Well, because of this. And it changes the entire context of how we understand the world, how we understand ourselves, how we understand God, because we live in a culture that's very, very, very noisy. You understand what I'm saying? This impacts everything. To me growing up, let me start back. You can see how culture shifts. When my grandmother was alive, she lived in the panhandle of nowhere, West Virginia, and a telephone to her was something with a wire on a wall that you picked up to talk to someone who would then make the call for you. You know what I'm saying? Back in the operator days. Seriously, I remember going to her house and watching her make a call. For me, the phone was something that went from having wires to not having wires. A phone to my kids is not even something you use to make a call. They use it to play games. In fact, a couple months ago, my daughter came down, and it was during nap time, and she couldn't take it. She just couldn't sleep. So she said, "Daddy, can I play games on your phone?" So I said, "Sure." So I gave her my phone. She took it upstairs, and I have these Dora games and princess games on there. For her, I promise. So she took it upstairs, and 30 minutes later, she came down. She had updated my Facebook profile twice. She was 6. I had never shown her Facebook. We had never taken her on Facebook. And she had updated it twice. The first post said, "Daddy," or "Mommy, I love you, Abigail." And the second one said, "Daddy, you have fat feet." And it's amazing. And now they know about Facebook, all of them. So whenever I post a picture on Facebook, they're always like, "How many likes do I have?" Like it's this whole popularity contest going on. So this is the world that they live in, right? This is the world that you live in. One with news sources and bumper stickers and websites and so on. So you're getting bombarded with information. This is called the information age that we live in. Now listen, the age of information is the age of competing ideas. That's what you need to understand. Does that make sense? Because what you need to know about information is it's not neutral. Information is never neutral. Information tells you stuff. Every single time you get on the internet. By the way, how many times do you guys get on the internet? How many of you guys get on the internet at least once a day? Raise your hand. Everybody. How about twice a day? 3 times? How many is only twice, but it's 7 hours each time? All right. It's an astounding thing. What you need to know is every time you get on the internet, you have at your fingertips more information than all the previous centuries of the world combined. Do you realize that? There's something like 500 megs of information added to the internet every single year for every single person on the planet. I don't even know how much that is. That just sounds like a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of information. But none of it's neutral. Information is always trying to tell you stuff. It's trying to tell you stuff actually about life. And not just, sometimes the information's pretty trivial, but sometimes the information that you get is actually wrestling with the deeper questions of life. Questions like, does life have meaning? Or where do we come from? Or am I different than the animals? What makes me human? What's right, what's wrong? Who decides what's right and wrong? Where's history going? What happens after I die? Where did everything come from? These are what philosophers call the ultimate questions, or the big questions, the moral questions. How many of you guys have pets? Your pets don't ask these questions. This is a human thing to do. Animals don't sit around going, "Where did I come from?" What do animals care about? Where they're going to find their next meal, where they're going to find their next nap, and where they're going to find their next mate. Sounds like a lot of college freshmen too, doesn't it? But humans ask bigger questions, and you can see this, whether we're talking about the history of philosophy and philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre, who said it is meaningless that we are born, it is meaningless that we die. He's quite the optimist about life, wasn't he? Or this philosopher, Woody Allen, the filmmaker, who puts philosophy in, clearly in all of his films, and always has. He says, more than any other time in history, mankind faces a crossroad. One path leads to despair and utter hopelessness, the other to total extinction. Let us pray we have the wisdom to choose correctly. Or these philosophers, Weezer. may answer the question, the meaning of life. Beverly Hills, that's where I want to be. You want to take something a lot more current, the band Fun. What's the meaning of life for them? And We Are Young. You know, I heard it right before the Olympics, and I was like, oh, that sounds like Queen's We Will Rock You. I'm like, that could be an anthem, right? We are young. Let's set the world on fire. And what's set the world on fire mean for them? Go get drunk at a bar, right? So what's the meaning of life? Just exist. Just live, right? Even Lance Armstrong has an idea about what the meaning of life is. The meaning of life to him is yellow. Yellow wakes me up. Yellow gets me up in the morning, gets me on the bike every day. Yellow has taught me the true meaning of sacrifice. Yellow makes me suffer. Yellow is the reason I'm here. Yellow. Now, what does he mean by yellow? What do you got? What do you think he means by yellow? It's not just fascinated with a particular color. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. If you win the stage on the Tour de France or you win the race, you get to wear the yellow jersey. So for him, life is short. It's better to what? Win. The meaning of life is to win. Now, that's obvious when you look at a guy like Michael Phelps, you look at a guy like Michael Jordan. You know, these guys are living to compete and to win. But you know what? That's also the worldview of a guy named Bernie Madoff. You might know who Bernie Madoff is? He was the one who wanted to win in the financial district, and so he set up a Ponzi scheme and stole millions and millions and millions of dollars from folks. It was also the worldview of a guy named Adolf Hitler. Does that ring a bell? That life is about power. Do you see what I mean? So these ideas have different impacts. In fact, that's what's so important about an age of information. An age of information is an age of ideas. And ideas, this is what you need to write down first. Ready? Ideas have consequences.